Some people lie to escape punishment. Jimmy McGill lied to escape himself. At first, he looked like a small lawyer trying to survive in a world that did not respect him. He was funny, fast, charming, and dangerous only in small ways. But behind the smile, there was something deeper: shame. Jimmy did not wake up one day and decide to become Saul Goodman. Saul was not born from greed only. Saul was born from rejection, humiliation, and the painful belief that being Jimmy McGill was never enough. This is not the story of a lawyer who became corrupt. This is the story of a man who created a mask so strong, it buried the real him alive. Jimmy McGill had one problem that followed him everywhere. He wanted to be seen as good, but everyone remembered him as bad. To the world, he was Slippin' Jimmy, a hustler, a man who could talk his way out of anything. Even when he tried to change, people still looked at him like he was pretending. And the person whose opinion hurt him the most was not a judge, not a client, not an enemy. It was Chuck. Chuck was more than Jimmy's brother. He was the voice inside Jimmy's head saying, "You will never be real. You will never be respected. You will never be one of us." How far did this war between brothers go? Chuck secretly recorded Jimmy's confession on tape. And Jimmy answered in a courtroom. He had a charged phone battery planted in Chuck's pocket to prove in front of everyone that his brother's illness lived in his mind. Two men destroying each other, politely, in suits. That is what shame does to a family. That kind of rejection does not only create sadness, it creates identity damage. Because when someone you love keeps telling you that you are a fraud, one of two things happens. Either you spend your whole life trying to prove them wrong, or you become exactly what they said you were. Psychology has a name for this trap: labeling theory. When the world brands you as deviant, the label does not describe you, it instructs you. And when the low expectations come from your own family, they work like a prophecy that writes itself. Chuck did not just predict Slippin' Jimmy. He kept the cage open and waited. Jimmy tried the first option. He tried to become legitimate. He passed the bar. He worked hard. He wanted the suit, the office, the respect, the name. But deep inside, he felt that the respectable world had already rejected him. And here is the detail that breaks him. For years, Jimmy believed the big firm rejected him on merit. He worked their mailroom by day and studied law by night, waiting for his shot. The truth was worse than rejection. It was Chuck, his own brother, quietly blocking his hiring behind closed doors, shaking his hand in the hallway, and letting Jimmy blame the world. When Jimmy finally learned this, something in him stopped trying to be believed. So he started building another self. Saul Goodman was not just a name. Saul was armor. Jimmy was emotional. Saul was untouchable. Jimmy wanted approval. Saul wanted attention. Jimmy felt guilt. Saul turned guilt into comedy. Jimmy could be hurt. Saul made sure nobody saw the wound. This is why Saul Goodman is so dangerous. Not because he is the smartest criminal in the room, but because he is a man performing confidence to hide shame. Every joke is a distraction. Every loud suit is a shield. Every commercial is a scream saying, "Look at me, because if you really see me, I might disappear." And then came Kim. Kim was important because she saw both sides. She saw the decent Jimmy, and she saw the thrill-seeking Saul. She was not fooled easily. That made her love powerful, but also dangerous. Because when someone accepts your dark side, you may mistake acceptance for permission. Jimmy and Kim did not only love each other. They enabled each other. Together, they made the game feel beautiful. The scams became intimate. The lies became a language. The danger became romance. Psychologists call this shared transgression. Breaking the rules together bonds two people faster than honesty ever could. The secret becomes the relationship. And when the game finally got a man killed, Kim diagnosed it herself in one devastating sentence: "I have had the time of my life with you, but we are bad for each other." And this is where the tragedy begins. Because Jimmy did not become Saul alone. He became Saul in front of someone who understood exactly what he was doing and stayed long enough for him to believe it was okay. Then came the turning point. After the courtroom, after the humiliation, Chuck looked at his little brother and said the sentence Jimmy could never unhear: "You've never mattered all that much to me." Weeks later, Chuck was dead, a lantern, a fire, and a question Jimmy would carry forever. And watch what Jimmy does with that grief. Nothing. No tears. No breakdown. Instead, on the day his law license returns, a persona walks out of the courthouse wearing his body and tells the world, Saul Goodman. Grief that cannot be felt does not disappear. It gets outsourced. But every mask has a price. The more Jimmy performed Saul, the less room there was for Jimmy to exist. At first, Saul was a tool. Then he became a habit. Then he became the only identity Jimmy could survive inside. Let's be precise about what this is. It is not a split personality. Movies love that idea, but that is not what the writers built. Clinicians would call it compartmentalization, walling off an identity that hurts too much and living inside a cheaper, louder one. The show gets the real psychology right, and that is exactly why it feels so true. And this is one of the darkest psychological truths in the story. Sometimes people do not become fake because they love lying. They become fake because the truth feels unbearable. For Jimmy, the truth was simple and painful. Chuck was gone. Kim was gone. His old life was gone. And the only thing left was the performance. That is why Saul talks so much. Silence would force him to feel. That is why he keeps moving. Stillness would force him to remember. That is why he keeps joking. Seriousness would expose the emptiness underneath. Saul Goodman is not freedom. Saul Goodman is avoidance. He avoids grief. He avoids guilt. He avoids responsibility. He avoids the question that could destroy him. Who am I when nobody is watching? And this question follows him until he becomes Gene Takavik. Gene is not Jimmy. Gene is not Saul. Gene is what remains after the performance dies. No colors. No stage. No applause. No courtroom. No commercials. No Kim. Just a man hiding from the consequences of the identity he created. Look at how the show films him. A mall bakery in Omaha. The same dough, the same routine, the same silence, every single day. And no color. The writers shot this entire life in black and white. Because that is what existence looks like when the performance is over and nothing real was saved for the person underneath. And that is why Gene feels so empty. Because Saul Goodman was loud enough to cover the pain. But once the noise disappeared, Jimmy had to face what he had done. This is the final tragedy of Jimmy McGill. He spent his life trying to escape being seen as a fraud, but the escape became the fraud. He wanted respect, but chose performance. He wanted love, but used manipulation. He wanted freedom, but built a prison with his own name on the door. In the end, Saul Goodman was not Jimmy's success. He was Jimmy's defense mechanism. A beautiful, loud, colorful, entertaining defense mechanism. And like every defense mechanism, it protected him for a while. Then it destroyed him. Because the mask you wear to survive pain can become the face you can no longer remove. Jimmy McGill did not lose himself in one moment. He disappeared slowly. One joke at a time. One lie at a time. One performance at a time. Until the world no longer saw Jimmy. It only saw Saul Goodman. And maybe that was the saddest part. Because Saul was never the monster hiding inside Jimmy. Saul was the costume Jimmy wore when being himself hurt too much. Subscribe. The case files stay open.